Man, this update is presented by Staples Stores. We're going to start off here with the Padres, who, dare I say, they have a little bit of momentum. They've won two straight over one of the better teams in baseball, and the Baltimore Orioles. Last night, the win was 5-2. It was actually exciting for the first time in a long time. Fernando Tatis stole home. Trent Grisham hit a bomb. Blake Snell was fantastic on the mound. They're now 4.5 back of the postseason. 4-game series against the D-backs at home starts today. It's a big one. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammer the Brewers 7-1. Giants lose to the Rays 6-1. D-backs beat the Rockies 9-7. NFL training camps continue, and running back Jonathan Taylor, he's left the Colts camp once again, although this time the team says it is an excused absence. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets going tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles. Staples has what you need for travel: passport photos, luggage, headphones, even personal size, travel-sized items. Now get $10 off your purchase of 30 or more when you buy a travel service. In-store only, offer ends September 16th. Exclusions do apply. Staples, your first stop to nonstop travel.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we have a show for y'all. It is a beautiful Thursday in Southern California. It's starting to feel a lot like football everywhere you look around the NFL. We'll explain that in a second. And when we talk about holdouts, there are certain positions where holdouts in the past historically have looked good. All of a sudden, that's flip-flop. But before we get to anything NFL, boys, we got to talk about these Padres.
Woo! They're back.
Wow.
They're back.
You nailed it.
I mean, they can't be stopped.
No,
they're undefeated in the past 2 games.
that's a good point. That's a really good point. They have not been defeated. Benny and I were talking about it a little bit before the show started. You know, when you watch Fernando Tatis Jr. get a little hot, get on a little bit of a streak, find his groove again, this team plays different. And the energy at Petco Park, especially, and the way they react to Fernando Tatis Jr., it feels different. Yeah. And even sitting at home and watching the television, Travis, I'm sure you felt the same way. Like your heart starts thumping a little bit, especially in the 7th inning when he stole home. Holy cow.
Oh, that's the magic that's been missing. That's the special sauce. That's the little sprinkle.
Here comes Fernando. He's going to steal home. Fernando Tatis Jr. just walked in. Wow. 5-2. Don't take your eye off him. He may steal home.
Woo!
Just completely take.
What a call by Donnie.
Yeah.
Come on, Don.
Yeah.
You got Orsillo. He's just hitting stride. He's got 40 games left. The pipes are warmed up. He wants to go on a playoff run. All of the fans want to go on the playoff run. The question is, do the Padres? The question is, do the Padres really want it? And that is the I don't know, the crux of this entire season, guys. Like it sort of feels like, okay, if on the outset of the season we were making a big old delicious stew and we needed all the ingredients, the fresh carrots, maybe some tomatoes from the garden, the basil, herbs, and spices. We had all that stuff. But then the chef just sort of went, I don't really feel like it.
Right.
Well, it's crazy.
And you keep tasting the stew and you're like, everything's in here. How come it doesn't taste good? And then all of a sudden you go, there's no salt. We forgot to put the salt.
Right.
I think of it more as a cake, different food analogies. You're building the cake, whatever. But what I forgot about this team is that, it can be a really exciting baseball team to watch. And that's how everyone kind of fell in love with this team in the COVID season, was Fernando doing things that you just don't see every day in baseball. And now, we get to see that with Ellie De La Cruz. But now Fernando's doing it again. And it's just so much fun when he is hot and he's able to do things like stealing home. Just, by the way, that was an incredibly high baseball IQ play because the pitcher for the Orioles was just not looking. And so Fernando was like, well, if you're not looking, I'm going. But then the reaction after that, Machado, big smile on his face. He gets into the dugout. Everyone's high-fiving. He's dancing. That's where this team's at its best, and it's been missing for the majority of this year. But you see it here last night, and it gets you thinking. It gets you a little hopeful again. And, God, now they face Zach Gallen, who they've been terrible against for like 3 years straight, it seems. Can they get a win tonight? It's so big. It's so big.
Yeah. That's not putting it large enough. That is putting it mildly. It is so big. And that's the thing. Are we looking at just a one-off, or are we looking at a season changer? I mean, we don't know yet. We've said it 25 times this season.
We said it in the Rangers series when they played a team from the American League who's been near the top of the American League the whole year. And we're like, oh, is this the point where they turn it around? Because they just swept a pretty good Rangers team. Well, they just took 2 out of 3 against a very good Orioles team. And the third game was one of the most exciting Padres games of the year. Like, is this the time? Is this when it's happening? I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith. I'll put it that way.
Well, they had a win off of a game that they scored 10 runs. So it wasn't it was the over. We said 2 was the line.
It was way over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's so rare that that's happened. Now, look, we've been fooled before, and I'm willing to be fooled again because, like you just pointed out, Ben, like that is something that only Fernando Tatis Jr. and maybe a handful. It might only be 3 players in Major League Baseball can pull off what he pulled off yesterday, even though Perez was asleep at the wheel in the 7th inning, and he practically jogged half the base path on his way home. Like, he couldn't believe it. He starts taking a healthy lead off of third, and then he's like, he's not looking. I'm stealing home. It's happening. It was amazing the way that play transpired, but that spark that it gave, the lift that it gave to the ballpark, to the dugout, like all of a sudden, all of us feel we're re-engaged with a team that really only a week ago we felt like we might be better off without, based on Juan Soto's comments.
Yeah, and you can't help but look at this and go, if it wasn't for Shmeri Schmanchez's grand slam, I mean, this is where everything changed.
Codename Scorpio, baby. The best thing AJ Preller has ever done, including the Fernando Tatis Jr. trade, was bringing in Gary Sanchez to the 2023 San Diego Padres.
I mean, it was incredible because Nola wasn't hitting, and Cruz and Carpenter came in and they weren't hitting, and so you're thinking to yourself, like, how do we fix this? Like, what do we do?
There's only one man.
There's only one. It's gonna be a tough get, boss.
We're only gonna have to pay him $1 million.
Dun dun.
They did it though. They got again, they have the ingredients. And I don't know, Travis, if they forgot the sauce or the salt. And I don't know, Ben, if they were supposed to build a cake instead of making the stew. I don't know. But they do have all the ingredients for success. I mean, that is very clear. What's not clear is what motivates them. And teams have to feed off of something. Like, you have to. You have to, and you have to figure out who you are as a team, like your identity. And by the way, what's so frustrating is even though you have a lot of the same core players in place and a lot of the same pieces in place, you're not the same team year after year. The 2022 Padres are very different than the 2023 Padres. Even though there's a lot of familiar faces, guess what? They're not the same team. So what's going to motivate you this year? Are you going to be front runners? Like, are you going to be the bullies on the schoolyard who everything works for and you ride off of positive momentum? Are you going to ride off of negativity? Like, the world doesn't think we can, the old chip on the shoulder routine, right? So we do. We believe in us. We believe, and guess what? It's us against the world. Are you going to be quirky? Are you going to be a team that sort of embraces the weirdness that is the many different cultures and personalities around the locker room or clubhouse? And that's going to be your identity. Whatever it is, you got to figure it out before there's 40 games left in the season. And if you don't, you better be in a league like the National League that really stinks, so you still have time to catch up if you haven't figured it out. And that's sort of that's where we are, guys.
Well, yeah, that number that we've been speculating the whole time at 86, it kind of feels like it keeps coming down a little bit, and maybe it's at 84 now. And you know what? That's gettable. That's doable. But by the way, the cake thing, it may have just gone over everyone's head. It was from a few years back when Fernando Tatis Jr. said, "We're going for the big cake, man."
Yeah.
You remember that?
It went over everyone.
So okay, that's fine. It was a
no
reference. But this team is better when they're playing like Fernando Tatis Jr. Not when they're playing like Manny Machado, who can be a little moody. Not when they're playing like Juan Soto, who's almost a little timid at bat. I'm not saying he doesn't attack, but he's very okay with going for the walk. They're okay when they throw everything to the side and just be like, screw it, I'm going to play some baseball.
Have fun. Go have fun. Just make it fun.
Steal home.
Steal home.
Do that all the time, Fernando.
Steal home. Apparently, there's a massive tropical storm Hillary, that's tracking towards San Diego.
Hillary Duff.
It's going.
Speaking of cake.
Wow.
What?
Jesus.
Good Lord.
What?
I'm just she has a really big butt.
What?
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
wait.
wait.
Since
Hillary-
when is that a bad thing?
Wait, Hillary Duff has
No,
a big butt?
Hillary. Google.
Hang on.
Hang on,
Hillary
whoa.
Duff. Wait, did you say pig or
Hillary-
did I mishear
No,
you?
I said cake.
okay.
Speaking of cake.
Okay.
Oh my God, that would have been
Yeah.
awful.
I
Hillary Duff,
love Hillary Duff.
big butt.
Hang on.
Let me see.
Hillary Duff
Wait,
butt. I'm just gonna
Photoshop
go
pics
butt.
of Hillary Duff are circulating online again. These
Oh,
photos of Hillary Duff's butt broke the internet.
that's-
You're welcome.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. Even the non-photoshopped,
I mean,
I'm gonna spend a little time in the backyard.
Our buddy Carlos on the YouTube
Cash
stream.
me outside. You know what I'm saying?
Our buddy Carlos on YouTube says last night's energy has been missing all year. Vamos, can't say that word, Padres.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, you know what? I think you actually nailed something a little bit, Ben. Like, okay, so Fernando Tatis Jr. was MIA last year for reasons everybody MIA for PEDs. Okay, so you miss out on having him available. But Fernando Tatis Jr., for the entirety of his time as a Padre, was the energy starter. Manny Machado, it sort of felt like big brother letting kid brother, go unrestrained. Like he almost played like hockey enforcer. Like, hey, kid, go have fun. If anybody gives you any guff, I'll take care of it. Like that's what it felt like. When Fernando Tatis Jr. wasn't there and the Padres had all that success, we had conversations last year like, is it as much fun without him? Like, even though we are having all this success and it is a fun train to hop on and hopefully it ends in a world championships or a World Series rather, like, is it as much fun without Fernando? And the answer obviously was no. So even though they've struggled this year, if they can pull it all together with 38 games left, with 39 games, whatever you want to call the turning point of the season, if it's right now, if it happens a day later or a couple of games later, whenever, well, I'm almost happier that it's happening with Fernando as opposed to without.
how many games are left here? Is it
42,
40,
43,
41? 41.
41.
Hang on. Let me do the math.
Yeah, we got to math it up.
Let's
man.
math
There's
it up.
so
Yeah,
many-
yesterday was 42. Today there's 41 left. Starting with
Okay,
4 against
so-
the D-backs.
11,
One,
111,
one,
1.
Yeah,
was that
41. 41.
112, 1.
There's 112 games left. So there's plenty of season left, guys. Nobody worry. Every time I make a face in here, whether I'm scratching my leg, I was straining to look past the giant camera that's in our face at the TV. Ben whispers in my ear, was that a fart? Every time.
It really looked like a
What-
fart this time. And yesterday you were doing the lean thing.
Yeah. Well, I was scratching my leg.
I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were really leaned over, and I didn't know if you were just trying to get a little more space between you and the chair.
Me and Ben have been talking about it a lot, Travis. We're worried about you. Like,
We-
ever since you've gone paleo, you've been farting a lot.
And a lot of the faces you make look like a fart face. Because Rich, are you looking at our YouTube
Yeah.
right now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is the face Travis was making.
I was trying to look at the TV. We
Oh.
have guests coming in today. You think I'm going to destroy this studio?
Oh yeah, that's right. Mark Neville, who's going to come in and have a little chat with us about the Rays Invitational, the basketball tournament coming to San Diego this upcoming basketball
Big
season.
announcement.
Huge announcement. It's breaking live right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And by the way, if you like watching us live, not just listening to us live, obviously get the iHeartRadio app if you haven't already. That is a definite. But also subscribe to us on YouTube, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch there. You can watch us stream live every single day. We also stream live on Twitter, on the 760 account, as well as Big Rich, TD, Fletch on X.com. I keep saying Twitter, whatever, X.com.
Yeah.
And then Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Big Rich TD Fletch as well.
Even if you look up news stories that people are quoted from X, it still says on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, Rich, thank you for pointing that out, because next week on Thursday, we have a very exciting YouTube only thing that's going to happen right after the show. Dare we announce this?
We do? Have we talked about this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were texting about it yesterday.
We're getting hypnotized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were going to say, we're going to do another 999. Didn't work out.
We are going to go to a dark realm, boys. We are going to be welcomed in by a medium of sorts, a mentalist, a hypnotist.
Her name is Misty.
Her name's Misty.
Play Misty for me.
It's gonna be
I don't.
great.
What's that?
Yeah, just look it up.
Fine.
Also on the show, we have a pair of
Nothing
tickets to
bad.
see Duran Duran at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, August 22nd. A pair of tickets to see Pantera at the same place, August 26th. Also, a pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square. That's going to be on August 25th. So a lot of late August shows that you're going to have access to if you just keep listening to the show today. We got a little mustache you a question on a Thursday. All of that, by the way, you can find on Ticketmaster.com, or just wait for your opportunity to win those pairs of tickets on the show.
Why did we choose to get hypnotized?
Thought it'd be cool. I saw a TikTok yesterday, and it was really funny. This hypnotist, he had 3 people under, and he told one of them that he was the first human to come back after populating Mars. And this guy was truly he believed it.
He was in a trance.
Yes, and he was not speaking English. He was not speaking any language that was available to us on the human Earth. It was Martian, and he answered every question. And it was the funniest thing I've ever
Do
seen.
you think it was for real?
I do, yeah. Do you not believe in being hypnotized?
By the way,
Yeah, I believe you can.
even if I'm not hypnotized, I'm going to pretend I am.
Yeah.
I'm just letting everybody know that now. And then I will tell you afterwards, because I don't want to embarrass Misty next week, but I will tell everyone afterward if I actually was hypnotized or not. But I am going to pretend while we're being hypnotized.
100%.
Rich,
Yeah.
I do think of the 3 of us, you are probably the most susceptible to being hypnotized.
Oh, I think I'm
really?
the least. I don't think I have the brain for it.
I think Rich is the least, or Travis is the least.
Oh, really?
He's,
No.
He's like the most skeptical human being I've ever met.
I try to defeat my skepticism. Like, I believe in a lot of things, but I don't worry about anything really, which my wife complains about constantly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm a guy that likes to question the answers.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know why always.
I want to scrape the bottom of the truth.
Exactly.
I want to get the last scoop
Exactly.
of peanut butter out of that jar.
Exactly.
I
correct.
honestly feel like on our show, it's Ben. I think Ben is going to be clucking like a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be afraid to get into the boiling pot of water.
Without a doubt.
It's going to be crazy.
He'll be completely nude.
Why is he naked?
If it happens, it happens.
Why is he naked? And by the way, I'm pretending to be the hypnotist at this point. It's like I told him that he was going to be a Russian school teacher, and he's naked.
Have you guys ever done it before? Have you ever been hypnotized at like a county fair?
No,
Me neither.
No.
But I've always watched it and found it incredibly entertaining.
Okay. All right.
Can't wait to try.
We should have county fair food.
Oh yeah,
It's not a bad idea.
What?
little fried
Or
dough.
stuffed crust pizza.
Oh my god! Can we go on the stuffed crust pizza diet after paleo?
I think
I
that's a
would
good
like that.
call. And it's a real good call.
Because paleo sucks. I've been really
Terrible.
good about eating paleo for most of this diet, for these 2 weeks, and and I have to admit, like, I know keto was hard. Maybe it's because it's the 3rd one we've done.
That's what it is.
Because keto sucked, but I was like, all right, I can find my way around it.
And
then
it was kind of fun because it was new. It was something different.
Yeah.
carnivore was really tough, but it was kind of fun when you accomplished a full day of not eating anything other than meat and eggs. But for whatever reason, like paleo, I think that's it. I think it's because it's week 6 of Next Level Fit Guy Stuff Summer, and I just hate dieting.
Travis, do we tell him?
What do we tell him?
Do we tell him?
What do we
What?
tell him?
Do we tell him?
Tell me what?
Well, yesterday was donuts with the DJs.
Oh, yeah.
What
Oh, I
did you
forgot
do?
already.
Travis
What
and I
did
both
you
ate a
do?
donut.
We ate a donut.
Wow.
I've never
Yeah.
eaten a donut faster. in
Oh,
my
it was
life.
so good.
We were so good for like an hour, and
Mhm.
we're like, we're not doing this. We're not
Yeah.
eating a donut. No.
There's
It's Next Level
literally
Fit
a
Guys.
dozen glazed donuts sitting in front of
And
us.
then we were walking out of the studio, and at the exact same time, we looked at each other and both verbally said, F it, I'm having a donut.
Yeah, almost like in unison.
Well, donuts are definitely not paleo.
It was
so
it was
there's
Randy's
that.
donuts.
It was, yes. It was
Unless
Randy's
the
donuts.
donut is made of Randy, then it's not paleo.
It was really tasty. Does that make a difference?
I hate you both. All right. This from Adam Schefter. I hate you both. After returning to Indianapolis Monday, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has now left again due to personal matters. His absence per the team is excused.
Yes, just
Mhm.
like Stephon Diggs was excused, right? Yeah, this is a load of hooey.
Well, actually, the crazy thing about the Bills situation is it was excused, but Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, was like, "No, this is very concerning." And then they try to throw water on the fire that their own public relations started. Look, Jonathan Taylor, it's very obvious what's happening. He's in a huge dispute with the Colts over money. They don't want to pay him. He wants more. He wants a trade. He wants to stay healthy during training camp. I'll ask the same question to you guys that I asked about Josh Jacobs. Is it time for Jonathan Taylor to lay down the sword and just get back to work on the money that he's making?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's a little different with Jonathan Taylor because I think he's more talented than Josh Jacobs. And I think that he's been a little more successful so far in his career than Josh Jacobs. Jonathan Taylor could get $10 million from another team.
You think?
I do.
Hmm.
Maybe not at this point.
I don't know.
I would take the money that the Colts are, whatever. I would just play on the contract that he's currently on because he's still on his rookie deal, right?
Yeah. So he will earn a base salary of $4.3 million.
And the
this
only way
upcoming
he gets
season.
out of that is if the Colts release him.
Yeah, well, if they release him or if they trade him and the team on the other side wants to re-up his deal, renegotiate like he wants the Colts to do in the first place. So those are the two ways it goes. Or I mean, if the holdout, which has been protracted and obvious, because again, let's read between the lines here. So Jonathan Taylor rehabs from an ankle surgery this offseason, and he's on the PUP list to start training camp. And then he leaves the state to go get rehab away from the Colts facility. And then he comes back to rehab with the Colts, and then he leaves again for a personal matter. Like, This guy's still pissed that they're not paying him.
Tell me if this is a chance that this is what's happening. Because now the Colts have threatened a couple different things like, okay, well, we'll do the non-performance list, which means he doesn't get paid this year. His contract basically goes on pause. Like the Colts have threatened that. Is there a chance Jonathan Taylor just doesn't want to play this year? He's fine with giving away the money, but then he wants to get released so he can go be a free agent. Because the $4 million to him isn't worth it. He would rather sit this year out and maybe get $10 million next year.
I'm sure it's a consideration, but you better be damn sure that you're going to make more than $4 million next year. Because say a team wants him, but they don't want to pay a $10 million contract like Jacobs franchise tag. Maybe they want to pay the Zeke deal or the Dalvin Cook deal. You know, so you're only earning $2 million more only. I know I said that.
Yeah.
$2 million more on the deal potentially, and you've missed a season, and maybe it takes you a little time to knock off the rust, and then you miss this huge earning window like Le'Veon Bell had.
But you stay healthy.
Yeah, you do stay healthy, but you're risking a huge potential financial deficit in the interim.
I think Jonathan Taylor's thinking, I don't want to risk my health for $4 million with a franchise that I don't feel comfortable in the first place, because the Colts are a little bit of a dumpster fire right now. And I mean, I kind of get that point of view. At the same time, also, I would shut up and finish out my contract.
Yeah, I feel like you're also creating a narrative that you may not be real easy to work with, which may end up hurting the amount you pull in here in the future.
Or you're showing that Jim Irsay is a really bad owner, which I agree with.
Yeah. All right. Concert tickets coming up. We got Duran Duran, Pantera, Darius Rucker. Also, it's beginning to look a lot like football. Everywhere you look.
Everywhere.
That's next. Just because it happens every year doesn't mean it's a good thing. We'll discuss next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. We will begin with the Padres, who, dare I say, have a little bit of momentum. They have won 2 straight games over one of the better teams in baseball in the Orioles. Last night, they won 5-2. It was exciting. Fernando Tatis Jr. stole home. Trent Grisham hit a bomb. Blake Snell was electric on the mound. They're now 4.5 back in the postseason. 4-game series against the D-backs at home starts today. It's a big one, as they now sit 41 games away from the end of the regular season. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammered the Brewers 7-1, Giants lose to the Rays 6-1, D-backs beat the Rockies 9-7. And in the NFL training camps world, running back Jonathan Taylor, he's left the Colts camp once again, although this time the team says that it is an excused absence. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets going tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles. Staples has what you need for travel: passport photos, luggage, headphones, even personal travel-sized items. Now get $10 off your purchase of $30 or more when you buy a travel service. In-store only, offer ends September 16th. Exclusions do apply. Staples, your first stop to nonstop travel.
Big Rich TD and Fletch on a Thursday. Crank the music up.
Sorry, I had my little knobs reversed.
All good in the hood,
and
man.
I went up on one I meant to go down with.
It don't bother me. It don't bother. Yeah, that's how we do it. I know we mentioned it coming out of the last break. We do have a bunch of ticket giveaways still. Duran at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Pantera there as well. Duran's August 22nd. Pantera's August 26th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Also, Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square on August 25th. Tickets and info there at Ticketmaster.com. And it is Thursday, so we mustache you a question coming up here in about an hour.
And we have 2 mustaches on the show right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rich's upper look is looking dork.
Let me see. Looking what?
Check one out. There
What?
it goes.
What? Are you shaving that into a mustachio?
I'm thinking about it. I mean,
wow.
it's a strong start. And the chin whiskers, like, because they're starting to go gray down here.
Oh.
Like the mustache looks really prominent when the whole beard grows in. So I don't know. I mean, I miss the mustache. I will say that. I loved the fact that I would get complimented on it constantly, and I couldn't tell if people were being serious or not. Like if they were like, "Hey, we love the mustache," and then they walk away going, "Oh my god, he looks so awful," or
What an idiot.
like, "I can't believe."
I always
you were
like the
that."
ones where it's like, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it looks good on you. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, what, it
Mhm.
doesn't really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that a compliment? We're not so
All
sure.
right, I'll commit. I'll shave the rest of it tonight, and I'll go pure mustache for Bar Car Friday.
Are you going
Okay,
to go
yeah,
with the
I'll do it too.
handlebars, though?
I can't really get there now because they're different lengths.
I like
Oh,
that idea.
I
though.
think you
just
should
a
just
really
go.
crummy mustache, like because mine's gonna be bad. I think since we've done the whole show remote from each other since I've been in LA and you guys have been in San Diego and we've only seen each other on the stream. I don't think you realize how bad of a mustache this actually is. It just looks better on the screen. But I digress. Football is back, and the reason why we know it's back is because there are reports everywhere around the NFL that there are fights breaking out at practice. Now,
I don't remember hearing about this in years past. Not like this.
It's every year. I think NFL Films is just more present at every single training camp this year rather than just the Hard Knocks team. So we're getting more video, which is kind of fun. But did you guys watch the newest Hard Knocks episode?
I haven't yet.
Nope, I haven't
Okay,
yet either.
This is not a spoiler, but at a certain point, Robert Saleh is like encouraging fighting.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they had a fight-free camp up until they practiced with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then all hell broke loose. And he actually got into the middle of the scrum and was explaining that that's what he wants. In fact, it's not just happening at the NFL level. Training camps, obviously, around college football are getting ready to break. You're going to have teams getting into their game week preparations. Colorado Buffaloes, the brand new Big 12 team, they'll play out their Pac-12 schedule this year, but then they'll join the Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, got into the middle of a giant fight at Buffalo's practice. Give this a listen because this is the sort of personality that is very present in the NFL, but basically nowhere else in the world.
Now, I saw this yesterday, but I'm not sure it's clean, so it may get dumped. But
Oh, gotcha.
here we go.
Why we all fight. Walk it off. Never again. This is actually the cadence, the urgency, the anger, the energy that I remember hearing almost the same exact words verbatim from just about every single one of my coaches is you not only fight when the time comes to fight, but if one of your teammates is in a fight, you don't stand around and wait for the fight to be over. You don't go grab water. You run in there and you help out your teammate. And there's a lot of coaches around the NFL and college football who subscribe to that. And I'm just curious how that lands with people these days because we live in a very politically correct environment now, where you have to be careful of how you refer to people and you got to make sure that you're thinking about feelings first. Does this come off bad or does this come off good? I mean, I'm immersed in this culture, so maybe you guys can answer it better. Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a team thing, and I think it's really important. I mean, we know NFL training camps are a lot of fighting happens, and Rich, you could talk about that in a second. But that message from Coach Prime is extremely similar to what Robert Saleh was saying on the latest episode of Hard Knocks. He and one of his assistant coaches actually got into it a little bit, and the assistant coach said, "Coach, every time there's a little scruffle, we don't need both benches clearing." And Saleh turned around and got in his face and said, "Yes, we do. That's what we need. We need people to be competing more." And I personally think that it's the right attitude to take. And I know fighting is a touchy subject, but when you're on a team and football is literally fighting on every play legally, then sometimes something's going to spill over. And what's better than knowing that someone else has your back? I especially love it when a team leader gets in the middle of it. Like if it's take the Jets, for example, and this didn't happen, but this is just something that could happen. If an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman start going at it, I would want Aaron Rodgers to get in there and back up his guy on the offensive line because that does volumes for that relationship between the offensive lineman, if it's a rookie, if it's a second-year player, and a quarterback who, like Aaron Rodgers, needs to get all these people to respect him quickly more than they already do. It needs to become a bond, and that's how those bonds get made. And maybe it's the dumb male brain, but that's how they've been made for centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, TD.
No, I was going to say that I do believe there is a generational thing that happens here with a younger generation coming up, and they're not brought up with the same thought of, how do you stop a schoolyard bully? You punch him in the mouth. That I believe is going away. However, in this particular instance, or any team sport, I mean, you're trying to bond as a team. You're going out there and you want to do everything you can and fight as hard as you can to go out and win whatever game you're going to play. So the more of this, the better, in my personal opinion.
I'd be willing to get my ass kicked for both of you.
Well, yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Like if Rich was mouthing off at a bar
depends.
and ended up pissing off a group of bikers or something, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Bikers, though?
But I would have your back.
No, I mean, but that's honestly, I think that those sort of things obviously test friendships. Those sort of things are almost givens when you're talking about family members. But when you have a team that is being assembled, and like we just talked about with the Padres, the 2022 Padres, whether or not there's similar familiar faces around the roster in 2023, completely different team. So in order to build the bond really quickly, you've got to do something.
Yeah.
Richie, give us one. Who have you fought?
Oh my gosh.
With pads on, like in training camp, like give us a name. I want details. And did you get your ass kicked or did you kick some ass? Like, come on.
You know what? I'll admit I've gotten my ass kicked a lot throughout the course of my life in football pads and without. I've gotten into a lot of fights I shouldn't have. I've got a pretty good record overall. I'll tell you a fight that I definitely lost. So Patriots camp, my rookie year or my second year training camp.
And Tom Brady was just had his foot on your throat, really just stomped you.
No, it wasn't between me and Tom, although there were times where he was furious at me and threw footballs at me. We could get to those stories at another point. But the worst fight I ever got in where I thought I was going to die was one of my offensive lineman mates. I can't remember if I was playing center or guard at the time, got into it with Vince Wilfork. And as soon as I turned around and saw that, Vinny was hip tossing my buddy to the ground.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
I went in and I absolutely cleaned his clock. I mean, took him clean off his feet, took him to a knee and then drove him into the ground. And then somebody or a group of somebody's, and I didn't know who it was until I watched the film later, lifted me up off the ground as if it was a pack of wild hyenas. And I thought I was going to be torn limb from limb. And then somebody dropped me on my knees. And I got bent over almost completely backwards, like as if my spine was a hinge. And I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is how it ends. I'm going to die. And then all of a sudden, my legs gave out. And you can see it on film. Like my feet flip out from under me, like as if it's like a bed spring that's flying out of the mattress. And it saved my life, I think. I might have been paralyzed. But I will say this, even though... to save the dramatics and get back to the point, even though some fights can result in an injury, like, for example, Tony Oden, the cornerbacks coach for the New York Jets, who ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, well,
after
coaches don't belong in there. Like, what are we doing?
They're not protected at all. They don't have any equipment on. Usually they're retired former players who have no business fighting anymore.
Yeah, you get in the way of a headbutt, you could die.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Saleh said, by the way, says he's okay. He's doing fine, but he did have to be taken to a hospital. So there is that. But besides the dramatics, like there was something really primal and exciting about when a fight broke out and the fact that you were allowed to do it. Like basically outside of boxing, mixed martial arts, and hockey, football is the only sport that it is not only acceptable, but encouraged to fight at practice sometimes. And it's a lot of fun. It's like one of the greatest releases you'll ever feel is having a bunch of people rooting you on to do something that society says is a very wrong thing, but feels very right.
What's dumb is I saw it in the Jets Bucks. I think they were doing a scrimmage, or maybe it was Jets Panthers, but one of the Jets cornerbacks tried to punch somebody who had a helmet on. And he tried to punch him in the face. And you see that a lot with NFL players. And I'm like, what do you think is going to happen if you punch someone who's wearing a helmet?
Yeah, no kidding.
All you're going to do is break your own hand.
I saw a guy, though, Scotty Paxson was a defensive lineman at Penn State. Absolutely, like the tightest right cross you ever saw. he hit the side of an offensive lineman's helmet, like right on the ear hole. The dude was out for like 2 weeks with a concussion.
Wait,
And Scotty was fine, but that's the
Mhm.
only time I've ever seen it work.
You know, and as to Coach Prime's point when he said, "If one fight, we all fight." I mean, it's kind of a marriage, right? If your spouse got into an argument somewhere, even if you don't agree with the argument, you back up your spouse.
Yep.
You're there.
yeah, I've gotten in trouble for not doing that before.
Yep. Well, it's a learning curve for sure. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what they don't like to hear when they're really angry? No, Kendall, you know what? I think you're wrong on this
Yeah.
one.
No. Nah. Nah.
Yeah.
Just get in there and fight.
Don't worry, young Padawan. We will coach you up in the ways of women.
Well, I've learned my lesson now.
Yeah,
And guess
yeah.
what? She was right. So I was
Oh.
wrong.
Well,
And then-
that
and
also
now-
doesn't help.
Well, you'll now learn they're never wrong.
They never are.
ever.
Maybe I'm brainwashed, but she's always right.
All right, we're going to take a slight departure from football, and we're going to talk about this generation's Elvis. Who is it? You'll find out on the other side.
Who is this generation's Elvis? We'll tell you coming up next.
marriage is tricky. Everybody who's involved in a long-term relationship knows that marriages or engagements or, just even cohabiting can be tricky, especially if it's somebody who you have a love interest in, if you share a home. But not all marriages are the same, right?
True.
So Britney Spears and a gentleman actor named Sam Asghari got married in 2021.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people hadn't thought about Britney Spears in a long time on one side of the pandemic. And then on the other side of the pandemic, she was emancipated from her conservatorship with her father.
I think about her all the time.
She was married to Sam Asghari, who's this Middle Eastern gentleman who's, just tall, dark, and handsome.
Mm-hmm.
He's done some bit roles, acting in a couple of things. They seemed like a happy couple, and then all of a sudden, I guess it appears that she's cheated on him, or at least that's what Sam's alleging.
Yeah.
And he wants out of the relationship now, and so Britney Spears and her once happily wedded husband are gonna split, guys.
Yeah, he filed for divorce. I guess it was yesterday he filed the papers. And look, he's now saying that he's threatening Britney to release extraordinarily embarrassing photos or
More
videos
so than are already on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm in the same headspace as you. Is if you follow her on Instagram, how does it get more embarrassing? I mean, she seems a little off kilter. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Here's my take on it. Anybody who wasn't alive for the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, or whatever, however you pronounce her name.
Aguilera.
Thank you. NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, the boy band, and the pop girl revolution that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, you don't really get the reason why she's so famous. And so to me, she's this generation's Elvis. Like, when I was growing up, Elvis was on the front cover of tabloids, even after he had passed away, because he was spotted everywhere. Like, the whole idea was like, Elvis isn't dead. He just moved to like a deserted island, and it's all this big myth.
He's still not dead.
Well, that's a lot of people actually still believe that. A lot of people think that he's still
Neither
alive.
is Michael Jackson.
Okay. And I think Ben's one of them.
Okay, wait, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
What? Is there really a thing that people don't think Michael Jackson's dead either?
Oh yeah, no. There was speculation like last week he was at his son's birthday party.
Oh,
yeah, there's that, and Tupac is another one.
Hmm.
Everybody thinks that Tupac's still alive, making records, on some island somewhere. And every once in a while, when the hologram shows up, it's the actual real Tupac.
Do you think I'll have a cool enough life to where after I die, people still think I'm alive?
Yes.
I don't know if people know you're alive now.
They don't.
Britney Spears apparently unfazed by this divorce, because yesterday on Instagram she posted a picture of her on a horse, and she said, "I'm planning on getting a horse soon."
Good.
All right.
Good.
Is she naked?
She was nearly naked.
Okay.
Did you see when she got the stripper pole?
No.
Oh,
She got one
I don't
installed.
follow her, unfortunately.
you what? Why?
I don't spend a whole lot of time on the IG
She's my favorite Instagram follow.
other
You
than
need-
Big Rich TD Fletch.
You need to get on Instagram and follow Britney Spears immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, your life will improve, because whatever you're going through during your day, however confusing your day feels or looks, when you go to Britney Spears' Instagram page, you're like, well, it's not that confusing, but by comparison, things are going relatively normally for me here in my life. I'm not sure what the dancing's about, but she dances, man.
She dances and she spins in a lot of circles, which I don't really know why.
I am now one of her 42 million followers.
Yeah.
And trust me, you'll thank us later.
Yeah, exactly. There are days, though, that things get posted and I go, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not going well.
Well, it's sort of like you can't help it. You know what rubbernecking is?
Yeah.
It's like on the highway when you're driving past an accident, and traffic isn't slowing down because of the accident. It's slowing down because of the people viewing the accident.
Right.
And yeah, like rubbernecking's a real thing that everybody has done in their life. Like you can't help yourself. There's just a morbid curiosity. What's on the other side of this Civic who's got its hood crumpled up? Is it a dead body? Is it 3 dead bodies? Like
Tell
I
you
don't know
what,
what you're expecting, but you're watching it out of morbid curiosity, and that's the same the same feeling I have when I turn on Britney Spears IG.
yeah, her Instagram page really knocked me off my feet.
Yeah, you're darn right.
Oh, wow.
By the way, while
Wow.
Sam Asghari is running
Wow.
for the hills, I hope he's wearing his arch supports from the Good Feet store. Okay, because his back's going to be sore if he doesn't. Look, the arch supports at the Good Feet store, they've really helped me out in a way that very few things have. Like you could take anti-inflammatories for joint pain if you have pain in your knee, your hip, your back, your ankle, your feet. You could do a lot of things. You could go to physical therapy and you could try all these things for years and years and years, and you could be like me and not really find much sturdy ground. But then all of a sudden you go to the Good Feet store, you check out their arch supports, you sit down with one of their trained specialists for about 20 minutes, you walk out of there with these things that you just slip into your feet, these arch supports that all of a sudden start changing the way your foot touches the ground, and you realize, okay, my feet are the foundation of the rest of my body. And it kind of is like a building. If the foundation is no good, the whole thing topples down. And when you have this discovery like me, you become a subscriber for life. So the Good Feet store has helped countless of people. I want them to help you too. Get to a Good Feet store today and get your appointment started, or go to goodfeet.com. They have over 200 locations around the US and overseas. They've been doing this for 30 plus years. So if you're suffering with any sort of joint pain, what are you waiting for? Okay, coming up, we have those concert tickets we've been talking about. Duran Duran, Pantera. Okay, Darius Rucker. We got Mustache You a question for our first pair of tickets coming up next hour. Also, the reasons for the Pac-12 collapse. Some surprising, some not. You'll hear them all coming up next.
And we're number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Dare I say that those San Diego Padres have a little bit of momentum? They have won 2 straight games over one of the better teams in baseball in the Baltimore Orioles. Last night, the win was 5-2 in a truly exciting performance for the first time in a long time. Fernando Tatis had the highlight of the game when he stole home. They're now 4.5 back of the postseason, 4-game series against the D-backs starting today at Petco Park. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammered the Brewers 7-1. Giants lose to the Rays 6-1. D-backs take down the Rockies 9-7. NFL training camps continue. Running back Jonathan Taylor has left the Colts camp once again, although this time the team says that it is an excused absence. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets started tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, 2-pocket poly folders and an 8-pack of Staples number 2 pencils are just 50 cents. Offer ends 8/26. Pricing and limits may vary in-store and online. School on, save on at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. It's turn 2 for the Big Rich, TD, and Fletch show here on San Diego Sports 760, and we are just steps closer to a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle. 10 locations around San Diego, 1 up in Santa Barbara, 1 out in Chicago. So if you're listening to us near or far, Keg and Bottle's got you covered. Tony Kanja was spotted at the Padres game last night. Our sales friend, Erin Bauman, who works at iHeart San Diego, and she only handles accounts of $250 million or more.
It was up, actually. It's up to 300.
$300 million or more.
Wow.
She was at the Padres game, sent a picture of her and Tony hanging out, taking in what was a dominant performance by the Friars. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Wait.
home. Yeah, what do you got? Man, what's up?
Who did Aaron send the picture to?
To me.
Just you only?
Weird, not us.
Huh.
Listen, I don't make the rules. I just
Strange.
follow them.
Wow.
I'm just saying,
Anyways.
it's Aaron's world. I'm just living in it.
Wow.
I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not
It's
trying to make anybody feel bad. I just thought.
Look, it was cool. The picture Kevin Acey sent us.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It was just me.
Oh, Kevin Acey sent you a picture? He did?
What is happening? Is there some sexual tension here I don't know
No,
about? What's going on with you two?
I know. No,
Wait a second.
No.
Wait a
I'm
second.
kidding. I was
hang on.
joking.
After Kevin Acey comes on this show and he says the sort of things that he said about me, if one fight, we all fight, Travis. Just like Coach Prime said.
Also, do you have Kevin Acey's number?
No, I don't.
Mic drop.
Don't even have his number.
Oh, baby.
Don't even have his number. Wait, I might actually. Hold on. Let me look.
Ben is like Columbo. I mean, he figured this thing out really quick.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I feel like I might actually, but it's not saved in my phone.
I
Sorry,
never
Kevin.
want to speak to that
Sorry,
man
Kevin.
ever.
Whoops.
cow.
Yeah.
If you don't stream our show, you really should, because it's a whole lot of fun looking at us. Because a lot of the things we do obviously can be understood without the need of a camera or a lens or a screen. But then we do things like yesterday where I tried to guess what's in the box. And, the video aspect of that is just as much fun. Or sometimes I'll twerk in studio. Look, the point is, go to YouTube and look up Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Become one of our subscribers. We have over 200 subscribers. We've only been doing this for, I think, 50 shows, so we're very proud of those numbers.
Right.
So
Let's get
we'd
to
love
300 by the end of the show today.
Now we're
Okay.
talking.
There we go.
I also just flashed the camera, so if you ever want to see a little bed nipple,
Yeah,
you know where to go.
It's
so
almost
dark.
daily.
They are so dark.
What's in the box, by the way, getting rave reviews from around the station here. I've had several people come up and talk about the guesses that were made and how we should tweak the game. So
Well,
it's a work in progress.
yeah. The thing is, like all of our game shows, we don't even know how they work.
It takes 4 to 6 weeks until we iron everything out, and we're getting close. We're 2 weeks in.
We allow these things to incubate. Also, follow us on TikTok, IG, and X.com at Big Rich TD Fletch, because we pump out content there as well. And Duran tickets, Pantera tickets, and Darius Rucker tickets coming up. We're going to start giving those away in just about 24 minutes. We're going to play Mustachio a Question. And before long, we're going to talk about the absolute disaster of a timeline that the destruction of the Pac-12 being pared down now to the Pac-4 was. But before we get to any of that, so there is a brand new offer from the NFL. So NFL Plus Premium has fixed an issue that this new cord-cutting generation has been dealing with for a long time. NFL Network and Red Zone are going to be available for $15 a month all season long. Nobody is more excited about this than Ben Fletcher.
This is legitimately the best news that I've gotten in years. And that includes my wedding day, and that includes our honeymoon, and that includes a lot of things that have happened in my life. But you guys don't understand. So when I first moved to San Diego, do you remember PlayStation Vue?
Yeah.
It was a TV subscription that you could sign up for, and it was kind of like YouTube TV, but it kind of sucked also. But it was also $70 a month plus $10 for NFL Red Zone. So I paid for that for 2 years. And then last year during the NFL season, I paid for YouTube TV, which was $70 a month plus $10 for NFL Red Zone, $80 a month. Cord cutters don't have cable. They can't add on to a normal subscription like through Cox or Spectrum or DirecTV. We have all these different little services where I can watch the Sunday night games on Peacock. I can watch the Thursday night games on Amazon Prime. I can watch the Monday night games on ESPN Plus. Now NFL finally caught up, and they gave me another subscription to add $15 a month for NFL Red Zone. I get to see Scott Hansen every Sunday for only $15 a month. Put it in my veins.
I'm going to be doing this too. I think this is look, this is the first step towards pay to watch NFL, and I mean all NFL games, because I think within a decade, and Travis, you're probably more tuned into the tech side of the world than I am, but I sort of feel like what's happening here is the NFL is trying to now make their own proprietary streaming systems where every single dollar that an advertiser possibly can make off of the NFL will not go through a network where NBC or CBS or ESPN or anybody can make that money. What's going to happen is the NFL is going to hire a sales staff, and they're going to go straight to the advertiser. So instead of getting hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars from these networks, Amazon, I just mentioned 3 traditional media networks, they're going to put it all in-house.
I think they're also seeing what's working in Major League Baseball right now, which this Padres, the Bally Sports thing, when that fell apart, it showed that, there are people who would just pay $20 a month only to watch Padres games. And I think that might be where we're heading with the NFL, because it's not a regionalized sport like baseball is, where you can target one exact audience in San Diego, and that's where your bulk of Padre fans will be. There are 49er fans up and down the state of California, as well as the East Coast. There are Jets fans, a lot of them, who live in San Diego. This is not a regionalized sport. So if you have out-of-market fans for different teams that are regionally like the San Francisco 49ers, you could get a lot of people down in San Diego, over in Texas, up in New York, who will pay $15 a month to only watch the Niners broadcasts.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think yesterday Nielsen came out with some new numbers, maybe it was the day before yesterday, that showed that for the first time in U.S. history, less than 50% of Americans are watching television via traditional linear TV, that they are now streaming, which is cool. If you're looking at it like, great, I can now kind of pick and play what I'd like to watch. On the downside of this is a few years ago when it was cheap to cut the cord, and that's the reason people were cutting the cord. Now everything's being piecemealed, and it's now more expensive to cut the cord than it is if you bought cable, or almost more expensive.
I still pay exactly like I am paying like $80 a month for all these different services.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm paying exactly what I was paying when I cut the cord in COVID times. Yeah. But I mean, Look, I'm going to sign up for it. I'll buy it. I don't know if I completely agree that this is where the NFL will go. I think the NFL will go wherever the money goes.
Yeah.
So if traditional cable or whatever network wants to pony up more cash than they would make on a subscription service, then they're going to take more cash and stick with the major networks or the cable companies or whatever it may be. But if they go, you know what? We're going to be HBO Max or whatever you want to call it now, and just be that, where you have to download NFL whatever streaming service if
NFL
you want
Plus
to watch.
Premium.
If you want to watch any NFL game, that's the only way you're going to watch it.
Yeah.
One that would probably cost people a fortune to do. I would imagine you're going to be in the $60-$70 range during the season, and then they'll give you NFL for the rest of the year type of thing.
I'm going to put it this way, though. Okay, so imagine you're a drug dealer, right? In this case, we'll use the NFL as the stand-in for the drug dealer.
What drugs we talking?
And imagine you had a drug, and your drug is NFL games.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, as the supplier, you're going through middlemen and you're going through people who are chopping up the product, and maybe you lose a little control, but they're giving you a lot of money for this drug that you supply, this NFL game drug that you have that everybody covets so much. Well, what happens is you lose that control, and then you realize the profits that these networks must be reaping, because if they're willing to spend hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars on this drug that you provide, well, why not cut out the middleman? Why not create a network that, by the way, you already have an in-house network, but build a streaming platform and then have this drug be yours straight from production to market. You cover every single one of the bases. You no longer need the middleman, and the process is streamlined. Like we see this in movies all the time, like where, all of a sudden it's Breaking Bad, or, the Denzel Washington flick with where he was the drug lord in Brooklyn. Like these things make sense at every level of business. The more hands that get stuck in the pot, the less control you have over the end product. And also the more money that other people are capable of making off a product that you create. Whereas you could put this whole supply in-house from soup to nuts and then reap all the benefits from it. Now, again, it's your sole responsibility to get the ad sales and do all that stuff. And that's going to take a lot of upfront costs. But I'm pretty sure the NFL has the upfront cost.
The NFL has, and this might ruin Fox, ABC, CBS, ESPN if it
they
goes
rely
this way.
on it.
Yeah, because the NFL is responsible for like 48 of the top 50 broadcasts every single year.
Yep.
And much like a drug dealer, this NFL Red Zone costs $15 a month this year. And then once you get hooked, oh wait, it's going to go up to 17, and then it's going to go up to 20, much like Netflix did. I mean, it's 5, and then it was 7, then it was 8. I pay $20 a month now. Apple TV was 5, now it's 7. I mean, things go up. Guess what? There's more subscribers, so at $5 a month with more subscribers, you would be making more money, but got to scrape a little more off the top.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. The future in terms of football may become a little bit more expensive for all of us. Like watching, if you like college football and you like watching the NFL, the end result you may not like, because it may become even more expensive. Where games used to be free, just available on network television as a part of your cable package, sometime in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you may have to subscribe to a separate package, streaming or otherwise, in order to watch any football games. I think that future is we're going to come to that crossroads at some point in our lifetime. And right now, the reason why it's being offered for $15 a month is for proof of concept. Can we actually do this successfully? And if they prove they can, well, then it's not going to stop there. It's
going to work also.
Here's another issue is when I'm watching it on broadcast television, I'm watching, say, a game. I'm watching a game on broadcast, and that is quote unquote free coming to me. I accept the fact that we go to commercials. So now if I'm paying a monthly fee, like I'm watching HBO or Apple TV or Netflix or whatever it may be, I'm paying the monthly fee because there's no commercials. I have a subscription. So what does the NFL do with that? Or do they do nothing? And people just accept the fact that, nope, I pay the $15 a month for Red Zone. We still go to commercials.
7 hours of commercial-free football starts now.
Bring it on.
I think at first they'll do that. I think that, like, I honestly believe that it'll be the same thing that, like, Netflix did, where
Red Zone doesn't have commercials to begin with.
Right. But I'm saying, like, you're going to have to pay an extra price for Red Zone. Like, this is just proof of concept. Like, the idea that it's being sold for so cheap, something that's normally sold for so much more, is just to prove that they can get an app up and going that people are going to subscribe to, that they're going to buy and pay attention to, and all those things. But once you have proof of concept, well, then you can start adding things on to the point where now in 2023, this will be unrecognizable in terms of a business platform in 2043, where you may have people not only paying their subscription fee, but maybe paying an additional amount to have commercial-free Red Zone, and then maybe even an additional amount to have commercial-free NFL games, whereas if you pay the intro level fee, you have to sit through the commercials from the advertisers that want to do business with the NFL.
We got too far in the weeds. This is fun.
It also at a low price, not only proof of concept or proving that proof of concept, but they want to build the base. They want to put people in the funnel, man.
This year, commercial-free football, $15. Can't we just be happy with that? Like, you guys are taking this beautiful thing that we have in our hands right now, the one good thing we have in our hands, and you're taking a bad thing and putting it in the other hand and ruining it.
No, you like to put things in your hands.
Look, drugs are good, man. Drugs are good.
The NFL is by far the most destructive drug I've ever had in my life.
Oh, well, it ruins marriages.
Yes.
It creates issues. But I will tell you this, every single year, whether that marriage is on the rocks or there's a divorce pending or whatever's going on in your life, you're going right. Well, my camera just came back on.
That was awkward.
Hey,
weird.
How's it going?
Oh, wow.
Now you're like
staring
down
so
at
large.
Dude, I can't tell you how much Kendall hates
Monster.
week 1 of the NFL season, because all of a sudden our living room is transformed. I have 3 TVs set up. All of a sudden, like, I do nothing for 7 straight hours on Sundays, or like 13 straight hours.
Last Friday, I guess. I think it was last Friday. Sarah walked in and goes, why is there football on? We're back, baby.
Yeah. Listen, speaking of football, when it comes to these college conferences, football is king. Pac-12, SEC, Big Ten, ACC, these Power 5 conferences that have really, dominated. The reason is college football. College basketball owns the month of March, and that'll never change, I don't think. But college football is king. And when conference realignment happens, there's a lot of times where people start inserting those, like, well, what about the basketball programs? Like, yes. The basketball program's important too. But it's all about college football. That's what these networks are paying for, because those are where the ratings goes. And again, the same way we were just talking about the NFL, and maybe they go all streaming one day. Right now, traditional media networks own college football. Right now, in fact, the reason you could argue that the Pac-12 may go away, because they're down to 4 teams. You got Cal, Stanford, who are actively looking to get out of the conference right now. You have Oregon State and Washington State, still a part of the Pac-12, but maybe not for very long. And that's it. And it's been pared down that way because of a very bad decision by Larry Scott, the former commissioner of the Pac-12, all those years ago, when instead of selling the rights of the Pac-12 to traditional networks like Fox and ESPN, he decided to strike off on their own and create the Pac-12 network and create this moniker. It's the Conference of Champions, and we've been around for a century, and we can do it on their own. Well, as it turns out, they couldn't.
Wait, is this a cautionary tale for the NFL?
Well, maybe,
we were just talking about this.
Maybe or maybe not, because, again, they didn't even start with proof of concept, Travis. They just went full Monty. They said, we're taking off everything. We're just going to bare ourselves to the world. We're going to test the market with all of our games on our own network. And I think he lost touch with what the rest of the schools in the conference wanted. I think he lost touch with honestly with what was happening around the country in college football with these networks gaining power. And as a result, when George Kliavkoff came in as commissioner, he had to he inherited a mess that he had to try to figure out. And as it turns out, he couldn't, because the gears of change were already in motion. Like the USC president actually blocked the expansion of the Pac-12 when the Big 12 was losing Oklahoma and Texas. Because, I mean, if you read between the lines, if you read the tea leaves at the time, she knew full well that potentially USC could join the Big Ten. So she's going to filibuster any attempt that the Pac-12 gets into a big media rights extension and have to pay a larger exit fee if she was interested in joining the Big Ten. So there was like, man, it was liar's poker for a while. The LA Times just put out this huge article on the destruction of the Pac-12. It's really, really interesting. And that's where all this information is coming from.
There was some good stuff in there, especially about Cal just being the most salty organization of all time, Cal Berkeley, and different stuff they did after USC and UCLA left. Like Kliavkoff was trying to make a bigger deal to offer UCLA to come back, because it was going to be exactly where they ended up going, except minus $12 million, which was their extra for travel. And it wasn't Cal, it was Oregon said, no way I'm going to be in a conference that pays me less money than they pay UCLA. And I love the saltiness, but also you're ruining college football, so just shut up. What I think was interesting about the Pac-12 network back in the day is they just made it so tough to find. And I think that's what ended up killing them, because they had an exclusive deal with DirecTV for a while. And so you only could see it if you had DirecTV. And I think that was the death nail, because most people don't have DirecTV, or even if most do, there's still a good portion who don't.
I gotta tell you, I'm the oldest on the show. I don't know if it's because I'm an
Grandpa.
old man. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I do get tired of having yet another app I have to go walk into to try to find whatever I'm looking for. It starts to drive me crazy. I just want to be able to turn on the TV like it's 1995 and watch whatever I want.
Yeah.
We've moved past you.
Mm-hmm.
There's
You have.
No, there's a little bit of that for me too. I mean, look, I'm in my mid 30s, you're in your mid 40s. Like, there is a part of me that misses the simpler times where you turn on the television, you click through the channels, and if your favorite show went to commercial, you just sort of cruised around until it came back. And I don't know, there was something easier about that, instead of having to exit an app to launch another app, and maybe it buffers for a while.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, there's something, I don't know, there was something more linear about the world we were working in or living in versus the world we're in now. But that's the adjustment you have to make. There is one other piece of this article that I have to read, because apparently ESPN offered $30 million a school annually for all of their rights. And the CEO of the Pac-12 and George Kliavkoff met with a bunch of the league's presidents and with a professor. And this professor came up with the amount that, and this is based on his own estimates, that a school like UCLA, for example, should earn if they were a part of this conference, and what they should earn for network rights. And it was $50 million. And so when Kliavkoff, the commissioner, went to these networks and said, no, the number's 50, they all laughed the Pac-12 out of the room. And they were like, we're not giving you $50 million a school. And so that was a big problem with this whole negotiation, is the Pac-12 really appeared to overplay their hand at every turn, and it screwed them in the end.
And now they're the Pac-4.
Now they're the 4-pack.
In fact, you can't even call it that. They're not a conference.
Yeah, they're barely a conference.
They're not.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Times are changing. All right. What we're not changing is our minds about giving away free concert tickets. So 844-570-1360, 844-570-1360. That is the number to dial right now. We must ask you a question. And if you want to win Pantera tickets, if you want to win Duran Duran tickets, if you want to win Darius Rucker tickets, call right now, 844-570-1360. It'll be your choice. Coming up next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres have a little bit of momentum for the first time in a while. They've won 2 straight over one of the better teams in baseball in the Baltimore Orioles. Last night, they won 5-2. A really exciting game. Fernando Tatis steals home. Blake Snell is electric on the mound. Trent Grisham even hits a 2-run shot. They are now 4.5 back of the postseason. 4-game series against the D-backs at home gets going today. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammers the Brewers 7-1. Giants lose to the Rays 6-1. D-backs beat the Rockies 9-7. NFL preseason week 2 gets started tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school right now. 2 pocket poly folders and an 8-pack of Staples number 2 pencils, just 50 cents each. Offer ends 8/26. Pricing and limits may vary in store and online. School on, save on at Staples.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. I wonder if you can get poly pocket poly folders at Staples.
I hope so.
I hope so as well.
Yeah, those would be big sellers.
So it'd be hard to say in the copy though.
You know what's interesting is what your little kids, I have 2 boys, but Polly Pocket, like when they discovered Polly Pocket, they were very into it for probably like a month.
Uh-huh.
And they started like saying things and doing things that I was just like, where the hell did you hear that from? You know what I mean? It's like, and I realized that there were lines they were repeating from the kids show. It was very funny. But I digress because we have way more important things to do right now.
Hairy upper lip or nah? It's up to you to determine. If you want the prize, you have to play the game. It's time. We mustache you a question.
Oh, you're darn tootin'. We do it every single Thursday. This is a game show that is sweeping the world. We are absolutely enormous in Mumbai, India. Mumbai, India. Yeah. One of our biggest markets.
Heard that as well.
Yeah. So this is what we do every Thursday. We play Mustache You a Question, which is the simplest, quite frankly, maybe the dumbest game show on the planet, where we play you a clip of a person's voice. And what our listener contestant needs to do is determine whether or not the person in that clip has a mustache or not. If they answer 3 of 5 correctly, well, they're winning concert tickets.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And we have Patrick on the line. He's going to be our first contestant here. Gabe, hang on, because if Patrick cannot complete the task, you are in waiting here. But Patrick playing for Darius Rucker tickets. That's what he chose. They're going to be at Gallagher Square, or he's going to be at Gallagher Square on August 25th. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. But Patrick, are you ready to play We Mustache You a Question?
This is more exciting than anybody has ever been a part of. I am so jacked for this.
You sound like it.
Yeah, he is jacked. He's jacked.
Patrick, if you don't mind me asking, not where you work, but like what kind of business you're in. What do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
Okay, he's a teacher. Okay,
wait. Are you in the classroom right now?
Right now, there's a group of 6th graders who are listening to us on speakerphone, and their homework assignment on what's the date for the Darius Rucker tickets?
It is August 25th.
Okay, so the weekend homework depends on whether or not Patrick does a good job here or not, because he's going to be a very busy man on Friday. That's potentially.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I have to let you know, I have to go outside of all the radio shows in the morning. My school has banned your radio show from being played in the classroom.
What?
It's a little too edgy.
What?
Wait,
we've been banned?
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, we've been banned at an elementary school. Well, I mean,
I've been.
I felt like it was coming.
Yeah,
it's the food promotion. They're a little worried about the obesity of the kids.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
we're fit guys.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
moment.
the nudity, but I guess it's not
Yeah.
that.
No,
cool.
It's next level fit guy stuff.
Really,
Patrick? You could defend us. You could go to the hilt for us.
We got banned because we're too fat.
Gosh darn.
Gosh, did not expect that one.
Honestly, Patrick, you're just like Lizzo. I can't believe this. All right, here we go. Patrick, enough tomfoolery. We're about to school you potentially, put in the shoe on the other foot with clip number 1.
We also watched a lot of cinema films together. We love the movie Top Gun. Oftentimes we would joke with each other who was Goose and who was Tom Cruise. Well, now that Shane is dead, I guess we know who is Goose.
Oh my God.
Shane is Goose. Because in that motion picture, Goose dies. So Shane is dead, so he would be Goose. And that would make me Tom Cruise.
Patrick, we want you to be our Tom Cruise here. Patrick, can you tell us whether or not the voice in that clip has a mustache attached to it or not?
Yes, it has a mustache.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
You're effing out.
Yeah, you're effing out. But Patrick's not out. He's up 1-0. That was Kenny Powers. I mean, really a hero here with the show. But you got one right. You got to get two more. You're winning those Darius Rucker tickets, Patrick. Here is clip number 2.
Went to Baskin Robbins for a scoop. Got behind a woman that's got a sample. She's like, excuse me, hi. Can I try the vanilla? Vanilla? Where the f*** have you been?
Yeah, you gotta try all 31 flavors when you go to BR. Okay, Patrick, tell us right now what you think. Does that person have a mustache or not?
I'm going to go with no. The woman might, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, you nailed it, man. Sebastian Maniscalco.
Maniscalco, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
great
always,
stand-up comedian.
I always butcher the last name. I'm not good with it.
Yeah, nailed it though.
But man, Patrick, you got to get one more here and you win. Gabe, don't give up hope. Patrick could completely blow this. So,
Or he could drop an F-bomb and we have to hang up on it.
That could be true. Because
That's true.
Yeah. Patrick, have you ever dropped an F-bomb in the classroom?
I can't admit that on the
That's a
radio.
yes. That's
That
a
is-
yes.
yes, it is confirmed. Patrick is teaching mother effing history. Boom.
Boom! It just
Call me
dropped on you.
Mr. Effing Patrick for the remainder of the school year. All right, Patrick, you're up 2-0. Okay, don't blow this. We're going to play you your third clip, and if you get this right, you're going to Gallagher Square. You're going to see Darius Rucker next Friday. Ben, if you will, clip number 3.
If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a dark clip for possibly the game winner.
Tell you right now, I just reeled in the boys.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
I
Well,
do not want that
gentleman
phone
was
call.
yeah, there you go.
Not at all. Not
Mhm.
at all. Patrick, we mustache you a question. Does that voice have a mustache?
No.
Wow. 3 down, Patrick. Congratulations, man. You just won yourself a pair of tickets to go see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square next Friday, August 25th. Everybody else is going to Ticketmaster.com, but not you, my friend. You are going courtesy of Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. How you feeling?
That is awesome.
Yes.
I can now go into the classroom and actually be happy.
What? Good. Actually, be happy for once. Hey, by the way, this is odd. Ben and I were just talking about how much we miss Pizza Day at the cafeteria in elementary school. Is Pizza Day coming up?
Yeah, but it's the crust is cauliflower.
No.
It's just
What?
No.
Oh my God. I'm suing
no.
I'm
California.
gonna pass out.
What? That is. Hey, Patrick.
Travis is down.
Yeah.
You
Next,
killed Travis.
Yeah, Travis is gone. That just killed one of our co-hosts. Next PTA meeting, you need to get involved. That needs to change.
Or just call us and we'll do a stand-up at the PTA meeting.
Yeah, we'll get out there. Hey, Patrick, enjoy those tickets. We really appreciate you. Thanks for listening, even though our show has been banned from your workplace.
Yes, yeah. But also thank you for
you're
schooling
back.
our kids.
Hello.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I passed out briefly. But Patrick, hang on the line and Ben's gonna get your info. I don't know if I'm happy or sad we've been banned from elementary school.
Oh, I'm proud.
You're proud.
I think we deserve it.
But don't you feel like the kids need to hear us.
It's about the kids.
It's about the children.
Let those boys
children.
watch.
I'll tell you,
Let the boy watch.
let the boy watch. All right. Look, it's a circus, right? This
Mhm.
show, life, sometimes it feels like a circus. Is it still a circus in Denver? One very important voice says it's all coming together.
Should we skip this segment?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
Nope, we're gonna lean
but
in.
we're gonna whisper a lot.
Let the boy watch. That's next. It's always interesting to hear the take of the person in charge, right? And then to hear the take of the subordinates. Like, when you hear from Sean Payton in Denver, like he has a little bit more of an honest portrayal, I would say, of what's going on in Denver. Like Russell Wilson's got a long way to go. You heard it in that USA Today article where he sort of lambasted Nathaniel Hackett for ruining Russell Wilson. And his job is to rebuild Russ. Russell Wilson, however, has a completely different take on what's going on at Denver Broncos camp currently.
Broncos are doomed.
Hang on. Hang on. Before you say that, okay, let's hear him out.
Okay.
So Russell Wilson was asked how things are going at Broncos camp. Here's what he had to say.
Sorry, that's not Russ.
It started at 15 seconds in, and then it'll be Russ.
Yeah.
A lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So Sean Payton, like less than 2 weeks ago, says that this is a complete rebuild. Like there were 20 dirty hands on Russ last season, and it is taking a painstaking practice to peel every last one of the fingerprints that got stuck to him off of him. And Russ is like, hey, listen, we are fine. It's all coming together. Now, I saw Russell play last week in the preseason, and we talked about this. I mean, Russ looked okay.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
good.
it looked. It wasn't bad though either. It was just kind of there it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay if there's no pressure, and I mean none. He was okay, but his first series out was awful.
Win total for the Broncos.
7. It's better than last year.
I mean,
It's not great.
I mean,
7.
Okay. Remember, they're in the AFC West against the Chargers, who have, I mean, on paper, a very good team.
Do you want to know what Vegas
The
has it at?
Chiefs, yeah, what is it?
8.5.
Wow. Wow.
So you're taking the under.
Yeah, I would take the
Like
under.
a true fan.
Listen, I'm trying to be a realist here. Look, week 1, they got the Raiders, then the Commanders, then the Dolphins, then the Bears. So, I mean, maybe there's a win there.
There's
then
2
the
winnable games there.
Jets, then the Chiefs, then the Packers, the Chiefs again,
It's
the
a tough
Bills. Yeah, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, Denver was a 5-12 football team last year. Russell Wilson looked absolutely lost. And Sean Payton, look, is he a great coach? Yeah. But he was a great coach with Drew Brees.
Mhm.
Drew Brees was an incredible football player. Now, I mean, when he had different guys step in, like Teddy Bridgewater, when Drew was hurt with the thumb that year, like he had an easier time getting the job done. Maybe with Drew in the room with him, or maybe it was because Teddy is just that talented or had enough of what it took. He was undefeated for 6 games or something. So there have been short stints where we got to see Sean Payton without Drew Brees. But when Drew Brees retired and Sean Payton was still there, it looked nothing like it did when Drew was there. And I think that's part of the reason why I took the job in Denver, is because A, there's a lot of exciting prospects coming out of college football, and B, I think there really truly is a belief inside of his head that he can get Russell Wilson back to, say, 2020 or 2021 Russell Wilson.
Is it possible Russ plays himself out of a gold jacket?
Well,
because I think he's been trending like a Hall of Famer most of his career outside of last year.
Yeah, you can play yourself out of a Hall of Fame.
I mean, Antonio Brown's done it.
Yeah, I don't know if he played his way out of it.
Yeah.
Might have been
Talked his way out of it.
Yeah, flopping his way out of it in
Swam his way out of it.
in the United Emirates. You remember that video?
How could I forget? I think it's seared into my mind.
I think about it every day, Rich.
Just say he was stirring the pool with a big stick, with a very large stick.
Emphasis on big.
The thing about Russ is I just don't see how it could get any worse. Like I think Russell Wilson still has the quarterback that we were used to seeing in Seattle inside of him. He looked timid last year. He looked confused most of the season. It looked like Nathaniel Hackett had no feel for being a head coach. And as a result, his performance really struggled. I'm talking about Russell Wilson's performance. Do you trust him at face value that everything's on the right path, that things are cruising in the correct direction?
I think what he didn't have last year was he didn't have a Doug Baldwin or a Tyler Lockett, which those are two guys in NFL history who are both wide receivers who will probably have had pretty forgettable careers outside of the fact that they were always open for Russ. And when he would do his little scramble drill and try to get away from sacks, which he holds onto the ball longer than anyone, he was able to find those two guys who could improvise down the field. I don't think he had that at all last year.
Well, I will say this. It's not like he had absolutely nothing.
No, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, those are two big names in the wide receiver world, but neither of them, I think, had the improvisation that Baldwin or Lockett had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they both had near 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, look, they're both very talented receivers. And I guess the argument I'll pose is if Justin Herbert was working with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, would it look different? If
Right.
Dak Prescott was, even if Kirk Cousins was, like, I just feel like I don't want to make excuses for Russ because those are two really talented guys.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't want to make excuses for Nathaniel Hackett either because he's got to draw up the plays. I mean, it was a disaster last year.
Yeah. And Sean Payton's coming in and shaking things up, and I'm sure that makes Russell Wilson very uncomfortable. I mean, he got his office taken away. He has to go to practice and play differently and see different things and do different things. And I'm sure now the comfort level that he had last year is gone. And so when he's coming out saying, yeah, I mean, it's coming together, I'm sure there's some discomfort in that as well, because it's just not what he signed up for. When he came into Denver, it was supposed to be easy street, and it's probably not at the moment.
Yeah, he was out there playing like a drunk raccoon. That is going to make sense on the other side, I promise. Also, we're going to reset with the Padres. Do they have a little momentum going? And Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, and Brian Howman, chair of the Rady Children's Invitational that will take place this upcoming Thanksgiving, join us in studio. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And dare I say, the Padres have a little bit of momentum. They've won 2 straight games over one of the better teams in baseball in the Baltimore Orioles. Last night, they win at 5-2. They got a 4-game series against the D-backs. It is a must-win series. It starts at home today at Petco Park. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammer the Brewers 7-1. Giants lose to the Rays 6-1. D-backs beat the Rockies 9-7. NFL training camps, they are continuing. And running back Jonathan Taylor has left the Colts camp once again, although this time the team does say it's an excused absence. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets going tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, 2 pocket poly folders and an 8-pack of Staples #2 pencils, just 50 cents each. Offer ends 8/26. Pricing and limits may vary in-store and online. School on, save on at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. You're celebrating along with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And we are just an hour closer to the finish of this show, which means that we are just about 21 hours away from a Bar Cart Friday. As soon as we hang up the microphones, right? Yeah. Bar Cart Friday is brought to you this week, as it is every week, by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations across San Diego. And Tony Kanja will be in studio live with us, and we'll bring you another spirit, beer, or wine for you to try this weekend. And you can pick up any of your spirit, wine, or beer beverage needs at Keg and Bottle throughout San Diego County. We're also thrilled that later today, in just about 20 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, and Brian Howman, who's the chair of the Rady Children's Invitational, which is going to be a Thanksgiving holiday tournament, basketball tournament that's going to take place over at UC San Diego. This is the inaugural year. It's going to take place between the Hawkeyes of Iowa, the Oklahoma Sooners, Seton Hall Pirates, USC Trojans. Mark and Brian are going to come in studio to talk about tip-off times and matchups to start the tournament. And, yeah, we've got a lot to get to with these Padres, so we should dive back in right where we left off in the first hour.
Travis has something he needs to say.
What's going on?
What? About me being on TV?
Yeah, you were very concerned like 2 minutes ago.
We're on TV. You got us up on the TV in here. I'm staring at us.
Brian and Mark can see it.
Yeah,
Can see
no.
Rich.
Look at that.
I mean,
Hey.
I feel so much fatter on
Hey,
the TV.
you. Well, it's because you guys ate damn donuts instead of staying paleo yesterday.
You know what, though?
It was a moment of weakness.
But if cavemen had donuts, they would have eaten them.
I'm just saying right now, your neck isn't going to get any thinner with that attitude. Although I will say this, if you were a caveman, I mean, even if it was a famine or a drought, your body could sustain off of that neck for at least 2 weeks.
Listen, I think back in the old days, I mean, a large, rotund person meant a person of wealth.
You're
a person of
absolutely right.
status. Yeah, I mean,
Also a murderer.
I'd be a murderous king of the cavemen.
I will also throw in that even though I've been fairly strict on this paleo diet that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks, as it's next level fit guy stuff summer, my belly hasn't shrunk at all.
Yeah.
Like I look down and
Stand
I'm
up,
like,
let's see it.
hang on, let me show you. Okay, so hang on, there we go.
What are you talking
It
about?
definitely looks shrunk.
Yeah,
No,
you got side abs.
When I look, well, those haven't gotten any better. But when I look down, dude, I'm not any closer to seeing Little Rich. Let's put it that way. I mean, it is.
Uh,
Have you noticed shirts though are a little looser? That's the one thing I've really noticed.
Maybe more around the sleeves.
I'm back to an
losing-
XL, baby.
Losing weight in my triceps.
That is true. That is true. Ben wants to exercise every day.
I mean, I haven't done it. I think that we should do it as a team.
Honestly, what we should honestly do is go to a gym at some point and just film our first workout of the year, probably for all of us.
Yep.
And just show everyone what the starting point looks like. And then at some point in the fall, redo it and see if we've made any progress whatsoever.
Maybe the hypnotist we have next Thursday can trick our minds into thinking that working out is fun.
Now, that's a sincere hope of
Wait a minute.
mine.
That's not a bad idea.
Like, are we allowed to ask them to hypnotize us into doing things we want to do?
I think so.
I think so.
All right. Well, then that's what we're going to do. Then that's exactly what we're going to do.
As I mentioned that we're up on the TV here, that's because we are streaming live on YouTube. You can find us there, Big Rich TV Fletch. And the comments on the YouTube, Matt Carter, we were talking about the cord cutters. He says, I'm 33 and I love cable. So there you go. See, it's not me just being an old man.
No,
The
honestly,
youngins are still watching cable.
there's a lot of people out there who really struggle with the fact that we're saying goodbye to, like, I would call it like composite media, where everything was in one reachable place with one remote control on one quote unquote app where you could just chuck channels and channel surf. You know, those days are gone though, boys. They're I mean, if they're not gone, they're dwindling fast.
There's so much more you could do now, which is what I kind of because you can now watch 10 different iterations of the Great British Baking Show. You can now watch 3 different styles of the TV show alone, which is an amazing show.
It's not a bad show.
You can watch Breaking Bad whenever you want, commercial free.
I do like commercial free. I have to admit that.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I mean, come on.
Do you pay more for Hulu without commercials?
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Yeah. I mean, because commercials, look, don't get me wrong. We run commercials here on our show. But if I could choose to listen to our show, which I do on our podcast, which is up at Big Rich TD and Fletch on iHeartRadio every single day, I would prefer to listen to it just straight on through if I could.
Well, guess what? It's free. I mean, it's free content. You can hear us free on the free iHeartRadio app.
Radio, baby. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
right.
I mean,
AM radio, dog.
but it's still a business. It has to make money. That's why commercials run. So,
Are you asking about Rich's feet?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about long ball?
You're damn right.
Listen, I like all those things.
You want to hear about the Remy?
That's right. We'll tell you about it. But look, it's if you're paying for a streaming service, then no commercials. However, Hulu, I think you still pay for it, right? It's just cheaper.
So you could, it's cheaper with commercials.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I've hit my threshold with paying for subscriptions is what the problem is.
Yeah. The other thing that gets me is because that model has been so successful in entertainment, it's spreading to other stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get, food delivered to your house or meats delivered to your house, or if you're interested in, getting some of like the supplies you use at work, like everybody has a membership fee.
A subscription.
And it's just like that part. I agree with you. Like I'm kind of subscriptioned out. Like all these other apps that we also use, like, and I'm sure a lot of people use for their business or their work. Like, I mean, by the end of the month, you look at it, it's like, well, everything costs $10 a month. And then it adds up to be like another $100 that's peeled off the stack.
Don't even get me started on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Only Fletch.
I spend thousands on Granny Zone.
That one's free.
Well, it's free up until you reach your message limit. And then all of a sudden, if you want to talk to hot grannies, you got to pay.
Gertrude.
And we put your credit card in. So
yeah, you're welcome. By the way, a lot of opportunities there to get your hands on a 1992 Grand Marquis.
That would be sweet. What's crazy?
Edition.
Yeah, what's crazy is that 92 Grand Marquis has 17,000 miles. Yeah,
it's been in a garage for quite a while.
Are we going straight into football?
This is baseball music, my friend.
Wait.
Yes.
All I heard was horns.
We got to talk about these Padres who, guys, if they win today against the Diamondbacks, that is officially a winning streak.
Woo!
Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
Okay, so 2 in a row against the Orioles, a big win last night, especially after putting up double-digit runs. They usually follow up performances like that with 2 or less runs and losses. But
Not
they
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 2023 Padres that we were promised.
That's right. You look at just the last two games, Padres are playing 1,000 baseball. They're averaging 10.5 hits a game, 7.5 runs a game. They're on track to finish the remaining 41 games of the season, 41-0. And I'm not a mathematician. I feel like that's pretty good. Is that good?
Is that good?
Okay. Now, Zach Gallen has been very good in his career against the San Diego Padres. Zach Gallen is the pitcher they are facing tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It
New
actually
Padres.
matters a lot.
It's a new
This is the
Padres.
2023 Padres,
This is
Ben.
it's the new Padres.
That
This
is
the
why I'm
Padres
saying
we were promised.
tonight is going to go one of two ways.
It's
Tonight
gonna
is
go
going to either
one way.
be
It's
an
gonna go 1,000%
awesome night for the Padres, or they're going to get blanked.
They are
How-
going to dominate
Yeah.
Gallen.
How many bases do you think Tatis will steal?
I think,
7?
well,
8?
if we just take one game in a vacuum, last night's game, Fernando Tatis Jr. is on pace to steal home like 40 times this season.
Dude, he stole 3 bases one time on the base path yesterday. He stole stole second. There was an overthrow, so he also got third in that. And then like 3 pitches later, stole home.
Yeah. This guy is sensational. And like you were mentioning earlier, early this season, Ellie De La Cruz was like doing things for the Reds that frankly we haven't seen from Fernando Tatis Jr. this season. Like the exciting base path running Fernando Tatis Jr. that we've become used to, or frankly before the suspension and before he was relegated to the outfield and before his return in the 2023 season, like we've become, that was customary at a Padres game to see something electric happen, whether it be defensively or offensively from Fernando Tatis Jr. And that's really not been the tone of this season so far. Like we have been celebrating Blairy Manchez more than we have Fernando Tatis
And
Jr.
Ha-Seong Kim and Luis Campusano, like the exciting pieces of this Padres team have not been the ones that we thought would be exciting. Now,
Right.
Blake Snell's had a fantastic year. He's in a contract year. That makes a lot of sense. But Fernando Tatis Jr., I was kind of wondering where he went. And then last night he did what he did on the base paths. And it's just such a reminder of, oh my God, the Padres are so much better when they all play with Fernando's mindset. Listen to Don's call again. Listen how excited Don is. This is how every Padres fan should be.
Here comes Fernando. He's going to steal home. Fernando Tatis Jr. just walked in. Wow. 5-2. Don't take your eye off him. He may steal home.
I love him.
I love it too. You know what I love is he said the same thing several times. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's going to steal home. Don't take your eye off him or he'll steal home.
Because it's surprising.
And if you're not looking, he'll steal home.
Are you home? Because Fernando is.
I love it so much.
It's amazing. And Ben, I don't know if you have it ready yet, but the Padres, the potential for them to be great this season is not only like something that dwells in the hearts of Padres fans, but now even former players turned analysts like Albert Pujols. He was recently on a podcast, and when he was talking to Brett Boone on his podcast yesterday, he had a lot to say about the state of the Padres. He had a lot to say about some of the specific pieces and players that the Padres have and what the future outlook looks like. And here's what he had to say.
San Diego can still do it. I think they're not out yet. That's a team that you cannot slip away because they have the potential of winning a championship. If you look at that lineup, if you look at that bullpen, if you look at that starting pitching, that team can be the Philadelphia Phillies from 2022 this year, the San Diego Padres. So don't sleep on that team.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the Phillies were a team, by the way, who fired their manager, who looked desperate at one point in the 2022 season. And then look at what they were able to do. They ran into the Padres and they were smoking red hot. And they were able to topple the Pods in the NLCS. And yeah, did they lose the World Series? Sure. But they made an appearance after what looked like a dreadful season, at least out of the starting blocks. Now, look, we're in a similar position right now in terms of the Padres, the team, and fans. I mean, the outlook is pretty unless they continue doing exactly what they did over the past 2 nights, the outlook's pretty grim. People are talking about Bob Melvin getting fired. There's a lot of people who are tracing this all the way back to the top and saying AJ Preller should even be fired. But what Albert Pujols is suggesting is when you have the likes of a Kyle Schwarber and some of the pitching staff that the Phillies have, and Bryce Harper last year in Philadelphia in 2022, and those pieces start coalescing and playing together the way they're supposed to, how is that any dissimilar from what the Padres are right now? Few games back from 500. Okay, only 4.5 games out of the wild card right now. If they get hot at the right time, the Padres could still accomplish everything they were looking to accomplish.
Now, it feels really good today saying that because of what we've seen in the last 2 days. But we've been saying exactly what you just said, Rich, all season long. Like, there's no reason this team shouldn't have been doing this all year. They have the talent. They have the pieces. They just haven't put it all together. Now, are we all being fooled right now? Maybe. It could be a really bad next week and a half. The difference between this time and every other time we've said it is this time it's for real. Like, if they have a really bad week and a half here, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, they're up against the wall. Their back's up against the wall. And, yeah, they have all the pieces. And the reason we get excited is because we all know the pieces are there. The Padres know the pieces are there. It's just for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked. On occasion, it has. And we've had really high highs, and then we go into these really low lows. So at the moment, because it does seem to be this kind of last stand of the Padres have to make something happen or it's not happening at all, that's why we're up again. And we're sort of joking about it, even though we are on a high at the moment, but we joke about it because we have been burned about, 30 times this season. So, yeah. We're crossing our fingers. We're hoping that something happened, that something gelled, that something clicked, that something went in the team. Oh, hey, look, it's now or never. And let's make it happen.
That team we saw last night is a really good baseball team. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just not the Padres we've seen this whole year. If they come out and play like they played last night, they have every chance of the world to beat Zach Gallen today. In fact, they should beat Zach Gallen today. It's just after games like last night's, a lot of times they fall on their face.
So, and you look at the team that we saw last night and go, hell yeah, man, let's rock and roll. And if they get hot and if they can start powering through, get into the postseason, all of a sudden Musgrove's back? Are you kidding me?
Yep. And that's exactly the thing is any one of these series where the Padres all of a sudden got hot, or any one of these 3-game win streaks that we've seen before, they still haven't eclipsed that mark, by the way. Their win streaks have been limited to 3 games or less this
hell of a time to do
season. But my point is, like, every single one of these win streaks or 3-game win streaks could have been the turning point, right? But none of them have been. So I won't blame a single Padres fan, including ourselves, because frankly, look, we talk about them every day. We're quote unquote analysts. We're not. We're fans. We're fans too.
Yeah.
We're ham and eggers. We're out here just goofing around. But we are fans. We're people who watch every night. We text about this. You should see our group text. It's like, oh, the Padres suck again. And then they win. We're like, this is the team we were paying for. Like, the wind blows and we lean in that direction. But the point is, if is such a loaded word in this whole equation. But if it all works out where the Padres make the playoffs and the Padres become the team that we had hoped they would be the entire 2023 season, basically all is forgiven.
Oh, like it's
forgiven.
Forgiven and forgotten. You move on. I mean,
I'm not going to forget.
But you will. If they make a run in the postseason, you will forget.
I'll be stoked, but I'll still be pissed that this regular season sucks so much.
The problem that they're going to run into at the moment, though, because there's only 41 games left, you have Arizona ahead of you in the wild card standing. So you make a run right here on this homestand, then knock them below you. But then you got Miami. You need them to continue to fall. You need the Reds to all of a sudden implode. You need the Cubs, who have been really hot, to start to fall apart, or the Giants or the Phillies. That's what you're staring at.
Dude, 4.5 games is a lot to make up in 42 days.
I know.
It's a lot. Now, they've made up 2 in the last 2 days. So you could flip it the other way also. But 4.5 games is a lot in terms of 42 games left.
I was going to say, I know, but not this season. This season, it's not, because the NL has proven to be anybody's league. Anybody's league. Like this is as down of a wild card race as you possibly could ask for. And I'm not saying it's not good that they're below 500. It's not good that they're still chasing the wild card at 4.5 games back. But if there were any year to be in that situation, this is the year you want it, because there are several teams, including the Diamondbacks, who are ahead of the Padres, who are really struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the Padres can flip the script on the Diamondbacks, keep rolling off of this momentum from the Orioles season or series, all of a sudden it's a completely different looking season. We're getting texts all throughout the show. And if you want to text us 70470, start your message with team, including this one from one of our texters saying, Jim Mora just weighed in saying playoffs.
Yeah.
Look, the Padres, I know it's crazy to be talking about the playoffs right now, given what we've witnessed this entire season, but this is still a team that absolutely can earn a spot into the playoffs. The light's flickering, but it's not blown out yet.
They don't deserve it.
Well, no, they really don't. Now, if they turn it around right now and can climb into it somehow, then maybe you give them some credit there. The problem is, well, at some point they're going to have to run into the Dodgers again.
And they do deserve it, because like Ben, like Super Bowl champs in the 2011 or the 2011 season, the New York Giants beat a Patriots team I was on. They were a 9-win football team in the regular season. They looked like trash all season long. And then all of a sudden, through the last 4 games of the regular season and throughout the postseason, they got hot and they beat arguably one of the best teams in NFL history.
Look, if the end result is the end result, which is them in the postseason, I'll take it any way you could get there. However, I'm not just going to be okay with Petco Park being sold out every night and having a bad product on the field when something else was promised. Like, the regular season shouldn't be devalued that much, which is why I was pissed when the MLB decided to go to 3-team wildcards. Like, that's a little ridiculous to me that many people can get into the postseason, because what you're doing is devaluing the 162 games that make MLB ball clubs money, that get fans in the stands for that whole time. You get 81 shots to show to your fans who are selling out Petco Park every single time that you care.
Well,
and so far, the Padres have cared about 30 times.
Then you have to devalue last season as well, because if there wasn't that extra wild card spot, they wouldn't have had that run.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Look, I'm with Ben and I'm with Travis at the same time, because I do agree that there's a huge problem in baseball. 162 games, way too many. The number of spots in the playoffs, way too many. But the reality is that's the world we live in sports. The NFL even has just expanded, and they probably will again to 18 games in the coming years. Every sport does this. It's nauseating, but it's the case, and that's what we're dealing with. And you know what? Honestly, the Padres were a benefactor of it last year. So like Travis just said, if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have seen that magical run in the postseason. Okay. We got to step aside. Enough Padres talk. We got to talk about a brand new basketball tournament coming to San Diego for the first time this Thanksgiving, the Rady Children's Invitational College Basketball Tournament. And we're going to be speaking with Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, and Brian Howman, who's the chair of the Rady Children's Invitational. That's coming up next. Coming up next, if you don't have Thanksgiving plans yet, we're going to fill you on in exactly 2 minutes on what you should be doing during Thanksgiving.
This update is presented by DraftKings. The Padres have a little bit of momentum for the first time in a while. They've won 2 straight over one of the better teams in baseball in the Baltimore Orioles. Last night, they win 5-2 in a truly exciting game. Fernando Tatis was able to steal home. Trent Grisham hit a 2-run shot. Blake Snell was awesome on the mound. They're now 4.5 back of the postseason. 4-game series against the Diamondbacks starts at home today. NL West yesterday, Dodgers hammered the Brewers 7-1. Giants fall to the Rays 6-1. Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 9-7. NFL training camps continue on. Running back Jonathan Taylor, he has left the Colts camp once again, although this time the team says that it is an excused absence. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets going tonight. Browns taking on the Eagles, and we have a very big announcement coming up in studio. Coming up next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, this update presented by DraftKings.
Big Rich, GD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760 and our iHeartRadio Music Festival. It is back. It's happening September 22nd and 23rd at T-Mobile Arena out in Las Vegas. We're talking 2 nights on one stage, and the performance list is insane. Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, Lenny Kravitz, Kelly Clarkson, Tim McGraw. I can go on and on and on, but while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there with 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2, plus $1,000 spending cash. Just keep listening for your chance to win, and that chance is coming up at 1:05 today. You can text in and win. But a very special day here at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, because we have some guests in studio.
Yeah, today, Sports San Diego will announce the tip-off times and first-day matchups for the inaugural Rady Children's Invitational Basketball Tournament. So this Thanksgiving, the holiday tournament will take place November 23rd and 24th at Lime Tree Arena on the campus of UC San Diego. The games will be televised on Fox and FS1. It's a great event. It's brought to you by the fine folks over at Sports San Diego and sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital right here in San Diego. It's going to feature the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Oklahoma Sooners, Seton Hall Pirates, USC Trojans, and joining us in studio right now, Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, and Brian Hellman, chair of the Rady Children's Invitational. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Rich, I think we're done. You said everything perfectly. We're out. Mic drop.
Wait. I left one little extremely important tomato on the vine, and I want you guys to be the ones to pick it right off. It's up to you. Mark, Brian, whichever one of you want to spill the tea on exactly who's facing who and at what times and which days. We would love to dig in here because all of a sudden we've got all of a sudden,
I was going to ask for a drum roll.
Yeah. All of a sudden we've got
professional operation here.
Yeah, let's get a drum roll sound effect for Mark or Brian.
Yeah.
Which of you want to give the news?
So Brian is the chair of this event, inaugural event. He's been working his tail off for like years on this thing. This is 5 years in the making.
Wow.
So I think it's totally appropriate that Brian delivers this breaking news.
Here we go.
All right, folks. So tipping off game number 1 at 12 noon on Thanksgiving Day. We've got Oklahoma and Iowa.
Yeah.
Boom.
I like that.
Damn. My
I like
high school
that.
basketball coach is a Hawkeye. He's stoked about this. I've been leaking news to him for years about this. So Bill Watsky, 12 o'clock. Game 2 is going to come right after that. 2:30, we'll have USC versus Seton Hall.
Amazing.
All right.
Very
I like
exciting.
that.
That's 11 Final Four appearances right there, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow. And then the day after, 24th.
Yeah, so we're coming right back the next day to crown a champion of the Rady Children's Invitational. So we're going to tip off a little bit later on Friday, 12:30, and then the second game, the championship game, at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
We're excited for that.
And I'll tell you, so the game's on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. By the way, this is going to be an incredible event. We want this to be the premier early season college basketball tournament, and it is lining up that way. If you don't have your tickets, go to RadyChildren'sInvitational.com. Excuse me. And you can get them. We got a fan zone beforehand and if you haven't been to Lion Tree Arena on the campus of UC San Diego, you don't know what you're missing because it is a perfect venue for this thing.
Right.
But the games on Thursday are going to be on FS1. Games on Friday are going to be on Big Fox. And the reason we know Oklahoma is going to be in that first game. And the reason Oklahoma is going to be in that 12:30 slot is because Big Fox is airing Oklahoma football right before it.
Got it.
So it works out. Oklahoma football, Oklahoma basketball, and then Iowa on the tail of that one. I mean, you got to get this is going to be unbelievable.
I can't wait. I love fall so much. This now is even better.
Big pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah,
guy.
I'm a big pumpkin spice guy. Not as big as Rich, though.
So the preseason college basketball tournaments are awesome, and they have a big history. But this one's really cool. It's in partnership with Rady Children's Hospital, who obviously our station, iHeartRadio, we work with Rady's a lot. Every year we do the Give-a-thon. Just talk about how it's going to impact Rady Children's Hospital.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we were excited about this event period because it was just going to be a great time for San Diego, and this is really what Sports San Diego does. But when we added Rady's to the equation, we were like, oh my goodness. And it's Thanksgiving. Like you couldn't have a more perfect alignment for this event and understanding the cause and what they do. And I think really all of us have a story about Rady's and how it's touched our lives or touched somebody's, child or your own child. So the ability to try to be able to put them on the national stage now, being on Big Fox and being associated with this event is something that we're really, really excited about. It takes this from being something that's, sort of on mission for Sports San Diego and really fun for the rest of us to so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's we're combining these iconic San Diego assets. Sports San Diego, we're a nonprofit. Our whole point is to drive tourism through sports. We do the Holiday Bowl every year. We're bringing on the Cal State games. We just brought the Wrexham Manchester United match. We just secured the World Road Running Championships that are coming in 2025. Then when you have Rady Children's Hospital San Diego as part of it, it is going to set this tournament apart from any other. And we're going to be unveiling some fundraising programs that we're going to be doing for the hospital.
Fantastic.
But also $5 from every ticket sold is going right back to Rady Children's Hospital as well.
Yeah. You're talking about 1,000 physicians. You're talking about 1,500 nurses, more than 5,100 employees around San Diego, and about 500 active volunteers annually providing that outstanding care that you guys are going to be supporting with this Rady Children's Invitational. I can't wait because, like Travis said, I love Thanksgiving for a lot of reasons. Mostly the food. I got to be honest with you. The turkey, the stuffing especially, the pumpkin pie, big pumpkin spice guy. What is the food situation going to be over at the arena, or specifically
question.
Are you guys going to maybe do some Thanksgiving cocktails on the concessions? Are you going to be handing out turkey legs? How are you going to handle that?
Okay, I will tell you, there will be turkey legs. In fact, we just made that commitment yesterday. Just yesterday.
Wait a minute, hang on. Can we get that breaking news sounder?
you didn't want a drum roll for that? Come on, guys.
You guys buried the lead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There it is. Breaking news.
Yeah, turkey legs will be at the Rady Children's Invitational. By the way, this is the inaugural Rady Children's Invitational. We have field set for the first 3 years. We're not going to unveil that now. We did already release that in 2024. One of the teams, we did release this already. The Purdue Boilermakers are coming.
Yeah.
Had to do that because my wife is a Purdue alum. Had to make her happy on Thanksgiving. But there is the big boss here at iHeart is really pushing us to get the Gonzaga Bulldogs here in 2025.
Yeah. Noreen in studio, also flashing signs here on her phone, like, don't forget this, don't forget that, which I love.
It was all
much.
Gonzaga.
Yeah, it was all Gonzaga. It was 100% Gonzaga.
You know what I love about this also is the price range on the tickets is really amazing. Mark, Brian, you guys did a good job because look, Thanksgiving, the holiday, I mean, it's right on it's basically the entrance step to the holiday season, but you can get tickets as low as $35. You can
That's
get
for 2 games, by the way. That session, that's for 2 games.
No way, it is. Oh my gosh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And you
that's
said
incredible.
$5 of every single ticket sold is going to go right to Rady Children's Hospital.
Yeah, wait a second. What's left for us? Hold on.
Are you trying to lose money?
Wait a second. Wait, you got to skim a few bucks off the top. That's how nonprofit works, you guys.
Right. I haven't been doing this long enough. But we did that on purpose because we wanted San Diego. San Diego's a great basketball town. Of course, we got San Diego State. But there's 2 other Division I programs here also at USD, and then my alma mater, go Tritons, UC San Diego.
All right.
To bring this, we're bringing four programs that don't come to San Diego very often. In fact, I don't know if Iowa's ever played basketball here or if Oklahoma's ever played here or Seton Hall. As this tournament develops and as it grows, we're going to be bringing some really big programs that don't come to Southern California. And so it's going to be a basketball showcase. It's going to be a basketball festival. It's going to be fun. It's going to be family oriented. It's also going to be a party. Can't beat it. Here in San Diego, give me a break on the bluffs of La Jolla.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Have we missed anything? Is there any box that we didn't check in this?
There's one big one.
Okay, what's the big one?
Get your tickets now.
There it is. Where do we get them?
Yeah, go to RadyChildren'sInvitational.com. RadyChildren'sInvitational.com.
RadyChildren'sInvitational.com. Again, the announcement came just now, live on air, November 23rd. Tip-off at noon, Oklahoma versus Iowa on FS1, followed by a 2:30 tip-off, Seton Hall taking on USC on FS1, and then the champion will be crowned on November 24th. We couldn't be more thrilled for the Rady Children Invitational. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brian, for joining us in studio. This was an absolute delight. And thank you for all the work you do around the community, setting up amazing sports events. I know you've been doing it for years, and I know sometimes it's thankless for both of you. And we know how much work has gone into this for a half decade. We appreciate it immensely.
And thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And I will say, I get paid to do this. Brian doesn't. Brian just does this as a labor of love, not just because he loves basketball. And he gets croissants and coffee from Noreen. But he does it because he loves San Diego.
It's hundreds of volunteers.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, you guys are fantastic. You have huge hearts. We love you guys for it. These croissants are also the size of my head, which is a
He's
great
got a big
thing.
head, too.
And I have a gigantic head. Yeah.
Notice that they're sitting over by Brian and me, and half of them are gone. So
as soon as these cameras are off.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I cannot wait to dive into those. Just guys, save some for tomorrow if you could.
No promises.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brian. This was awesome.
You guys are great. Thanks.
All right. There we go. Again, that's Mark Neville and that's Brian Howman. A lot of hard work done with this Rady Children's Invitational. So mark your calendars, buy your tickets. RadyChildren'sInvitational.com is where you get those tickets. And coming up next, we never got to it before. We will. Drunk raccoons tearing apart houses. You'll hear about how and where and why. Coming up next, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Coming up, raccoons are invading homes, getting drunk, and killing pets. We'll tell you where next. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So again, if you missed it, this Thanksgiving, mark your calendars. The Thanksgiving holiday tournament, the Rady Children's Invitational, is coming to San Diego. It's an inaugural event. They have tickets for as cheap as $35. You could get those tickets online at RadyChildren'sInvitational.com. $5 of every single ticket sold goes to Rady Children's Hospital, and there's going to be even more opportunities for, potentially signing up to volunteer or donate during the course of the lead up to this great tournament. And it's going to be an amazing field. You got the Iowa Hawkeyes, Oklahoma Sooners, Seton Hall Pirates, USC Trojans, and the tip-off times and dates were just announced. The 23rd, we're going to see Oklahoma take on Iowa at noon, and that's followed by Seton Hall versus USC at 2:30. All that's going to be on FS1. And then on Big Fox the next day at 12:30, we're going to see a champion crowned. So we're really excited about all that. We're really excited to be joined by Mark Neville and Brian Hellman in studio just moments ago.
Two things.
Yeah.
Thing number one, take that, Kevin Acey would just beat you on a scoop.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Son of a.
Because that was the first time the public knew about this. They will have official announcements going out on social and their website at 10 o'clock today. But if you're listening to Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, you got it first. Second thing, Rich, go ahead and look at the screen.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
You're eating a croissant. I told you to save that
And
for
it's
tomorrow.
and it's chocolate.
I got a chocolate one too.
Wait, we're supposed to be paleo. These are not paleo
Noreen
things.
said we had to.
Wait, Noreen Ippolito, San Diego president, told you had to do something and you listened to
I think
her?
she said you must eat a mother effing croissant because I bought them for you.
I think she
Okay.
did. I think she MF'd us.
In that case, I need you to save me one of those mother effing croissants because I'm going to eat.
We have bad news there.
Gosh, I hate you guys.
I think there's still one in there.
Yeah, just leave
Probably
it on my
won't
chair.
be till tomorrow.
Dude, that chocolate's so good.
Did you guys hear about the raccoons in Germany getting drunk and killing pets?
Tell me more. Of course, it's in Germany. It was either Florida or Germany,
So
right?
listen to this.
They've gone wild.
Several homeowners reportedly returned from their vacations to find their kitchens ravaged by these inebriated animals. They're reportedly facing repairs of almost $11,000.
And the reports also include the raccoons have eaten pets like rabbits and fish and have smashed beer bottles all over the house.
All right, here we go. We've been searching for a new show name, potentially. The Drunk Raccoons.
Okay.
For a spirit animal.
So this quote,
Spirit.
this quote from oh my
I
god,
didn't do that on
That
purpose.
was really good, though.
I didn't do it on purpose, but I did.
From a Frankfurt man named Allgemeine Zeitung. He says these animals, which are so cute at first sight, have become a plague in some parts of our country. In less than a century, this species has made Germany its home. That's the story both of success and suffering. I can't.
Dude, this is like, you remember a couple years ago when those deers were getting super high?
Yeah,
and like running rampant through a New Zealand town?
Oh no, they were getting drunk too. They were getting drunk on like fermented mushrooms.
Yeah,
or
that's what it
something.
was.
Interesting.
Yeah, animals.
They were
to
like
get
super
drunk.
aggressive towards people.
Yeah. So Berlin, the Senate in Berlin has refused the proposed killing of raccoons, at least as of last year. They're encouraging the public to instead lock their trash containers. Hunters reportedly complained about this position since the animal is a danger to local wildlife, including the wildlife in your own home, because they'll break in, they'll drink all your German beer, and they'll eat your rabbits.
I found a place back east I could purchase a raccoon.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to do that. Apparently, they're illegal in California.
Yeah, a lot of things are.
Take the
You
fun
go to
away.
Texas, though, man, you can own a friggin' tiger.
Where was Tiger King? Where was that?
That was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But apparently there are more tigers in captivity in the state of Texas than there are in the entire wild of the rest of the world.
Wait,
That
that's a
feels
real
wrong.
stat?
That's a real stat.
Wow, that is insane and also kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, I assume,
I don't know.
yeah, not all enclosures are the same. I imagine some of them are quite comfy, but
Well, I think poaching is a really big problem in the tiger world.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, and soon
I
in
do
the
not know the ins and outs of the tiger world.
well,
Big cat hunting is huge.
I'll tell
Okay.
you right now, if you could get me one of these drunk raccoons, like, all right, if we made a small zoo, I mean, it'll never be the San Diego Zoo,
No.
but if we had a menagerie of inebriated raccoons, I mean, as a tourist trap, like, just right off of like the I-5 somewhere up north in North County,
Yeah.
dude, I'm pretty sure we could make a killing.
Speaking of the San Diego Zoo, Travis and I both got so excited yesterday when we got an email. And you'll hear more about that on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lot to look forward to there. Ben, who do we thank today?
We thank Brian and Mark. That was really cool having them in and finding out something cool about San Diego and sports. Sports San Diego. What was the website one more time, Richie?
RadyChildren'sInvitational.com to buy tickets for the Rady Children Invitational coming up on Thanksgiving.
Preseason college basketball tournaments are some of the best things ever. That is one of the cutest raccoon I've ever seen.
Right? He's $500.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Illegal in California, though.
To buy it.
Oh, it's
We
in
also
Florida.
thank Duran, who gave us some tickets to give away, which we're doing right now.
Oh, 844-570-1360. Call right now if you want to go see Duran. It's been a hell of a show, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, Richie, Bar Cart Friday tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be in studio with you boys, and hopefully I'll have a chocolate croissant.
Probably not.
Okay, bye.
Hey, bye.